a lot of people, they classified this fight as these two guys are the same. Fialho, Salikhov, they're the same. And I beg to differ. And how I beg to differ was by saying, well, I think that there's one distinct advantage here. And Salikhov, been training at ATT, been doing nothing but talking about how he wants to learn how to wrestle more and he loves the American wrestling, and ATT is the camp he's going to be training at from here on out. And what does he do to mix up this fight, AJ? He takes Fialho down, right? And he says, all right, let's start mixing it up. Let's do some ground and pound, do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it was the striking that really laid claim to the victory here, man. From spinning wheel kicks, spinning heel kicks, however you want to call it, man, to just nasty, just like crispy boxing. Fialho got caught, and he got caught with one shot at one point in that, I believe it was that third round, that froze him. And a lot of people were a little worried about Fialho because it literally, like, he was like almost out on his feet, just frozen, not moving, and then Salikhov put it on him to kind of finish out the fight. Now the referee gave Fialho a little bit of a long leash, but this is another one where Fialho won the first round, but Salikhov could have had a stoppage win in that second round because every judge awarded Salikhov a 10-8 round in that second round, right? Go to the third round, and I mean, listen, man, Fialho is a tough guy, right? But I do think that this is fight, number 5 in the year or something like that. Like, he's been very active. Now you're coming off of back-to-back KO losses. The hype, this is feeling Kevin Holland-esque, right? Where you're coming off of a fantastic run, and then you start losing a little bit, and they're like, okay, now where does he fit in this top 15, if the top 15 at all? What do you think, man? This is an interesting division. Andre Fialho has a very unique skill set, but with the lack of just like intentional offensive wrestling, it could be problematic in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard too, man, because Fialho came in with a lot of steam, had a lot of time, or had a lot of fights in like a 5-month thing, 5 fights in 5 months, some crazy shit like that. And then he took a little bit of a break and comes back and suffers another KO loss to a dude that's able to mix it up. So where can Fialho go, or what's he able to do? Dude, this dude really also needs to start working a lot more ground game. And I think picking a little bit better of opponents, man, like something a little bit more favorable. And obviously never duck any fights. You're not saying, pick and choose and say no to people, but kind of are, man, saying no to do that. This is, like you said, I forget the exact odds, but it was a pick 'em, man. It was like -110, -110, 105. It was somewhere in that range. And it's just a hard fight, man. It's just a hard fight for Fialho. He really needs to get one back. He needs to knock somebody out. He needs to feel that, because you're right, Derek. It was very I think me and my girl, I was watching with her, we were talking about it. Homeboy ate about 9 shots where he was out. It could have been stopped. He got stunned with the head kick, ate a couple more. He was out on wobbly legs, and then just starts getting beat up. And credit, if you're the fighter, you want to actually be put out. You do. You want to go to sleep. But to everyone else, man, you ate 9 shots completely unanswered. Could have been stopped before. So we don't want to see that coming for Fialho, for this young dude, man. I forget how old Fialho is. You might be able to pull it up, Derek, but either way, you don't want to see it. This is young in his career, man. Barely 16-6 in his record. You don't want to see brain damage before, he's actually – you don't want to see brain damage ever before I say that. But what do you think, Derek?
Well, so just to clarify the age, right? This was also another one where a lot of people were favoring Fialho because he was 10 years younger than Salikhov. He's 28. Salikhov's like 38 years old, right? And yeah, 28 years old, 5 fights in the span of a year, 2 and 3 in that span, 2 knockout losses. It's just, yeah, you're right. And I just showed it right here if you were looking at like the people he's fought, and you're looking at Muslim Salikhov, Jake Matthews, Cameron Van Camp, Miguel Baeza, Michel Paeta. Like, those are some tough guys, bro. Those are some tough guys. Either way, Muslim Salikhov, he bounces back in rare form, man. This is one thing you love to see. You get knocked out by the leech. You come back with a completely different game plan. It was looking scary because he did get cracked in that first round. Could have been a broken orbital on that left eye right there. So I was starting to think, okay, this might be the beginning of the end. But composure, right? Came forward, did what he needed to do. Perfect slips, perfect counters, and ultimately finished the show. Got the TKO win over Andre Fialho. You have to love it for the king of Kung Fu, or the master of Kung Fu, or whatever Muslim Salikhov is, but the man is a winner tonight at UFC Vegas 65. All right.